accessibility and usability are key aspects for any application, website, whatever it might be, to ensure that your users can efficiently use the app in any scenario. So this can go for users that are motor impaired, vision impaired, or even if you're in a scenario where you can't see your phone properly because there is sunlight streaming in on your phone and you just can't see the screen, and you're watching a video and you have no idea what's going on, or the environment's really loud and you can't hear the video. So making the app, making the content, whatever it is, as easy to use as possible and as accessible as possible is really key. And this is missing in the crypto and DeFi space. If you go to a lot of these applications, you may only can use it on the desktop, but you can't use it on a mobile. So all these different aspects. And Gero Wallet is a project that is trying to make things as accessible and usable as possible. And I have Sean Roller here joining me from Gero Wallet to talk all about the platform and how he and his team are making the wallet as most accessible and usable wallet in the crypto space. So it's not just going to be Cardano, it's going to be cross-chain as well. So I'm really looking forward to showing you guys and talking about this a little bit more so that you can understand how important this type of wallet is for the DeFi space. All right, let's get into it.
Yeah, gotta do it like that. You've been listening to the Learn Cardano podcast.
I have Sean Roller joining me on this episode to talk about a very special wallet, a wallet that was designed for the user first. And I'm pretty excited to actually have Sean to talk about the wallet so we can understand more of the approach and how the wallet can help the general user experience and you guys in the crypto space. Sean, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Peter.
Right. I'd love to know a little bit more about your background. I did look it up and I've got a general understanding of some of your experience, which is actually pretty cool. Can you tell everyone a little bit about your experience and then how you got into the crypto space to start Gero Wallet?
Yeah, I think with my relative experience, it starts with my bachelor's degree in psychology. In college, I really learned a lot about human cognition, perception, and awareness and stuff like that. And I worked in a neuroscience lab. I found out about human factors and I wanted to push myself. So I went and got a master's degree. I wanted to work in UX research. And then I actually worked in a cybersecurity lab during my master's program. And I am really passionate about gaming as well. And I wanted to apply my skills to gaming in some way. For a long time, I was trying to figure that out. And then, I moved to California, looking to get my foot in the door for some gaming company. Didn't quite make it until towards the end of my master's program, but I was able to become a researcher at NASA Ames in Mountain View, and then eventually to Google Stadia, which is a cloud gaming platform. And then about the same time, I was starting Gero Wallet. I actually started working at Facebook as well, but I'm no longer there. I cannot handle two jobs like that, especially one full-time in crypto. So.
Cryptos are extremely demanding. You think you can do it on the side and build up a project, but it pretty much engulfs your entire time, and it's very absorbing.
It's absolutely insane. I did a recent podcast actually to dig a little bit deeper into that and my experience on it. So it'll be coming out next week, and just about the health concerns on it, how unhealthy it is, and mental health and stuff like that, because that's very stressful.
Yeah, we will talk a little bit about that a little bit later on. The mental health side of things is quite important, and I'm trying actually to try and promote that a little bit more with a push-up challenge. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later. So now, to your research when building up Gero Wallet, what type of process did you go through to actually get to a point before you build things?
Yes, exactly. So that's where I think it's really important. So one thing that Apple did a long time ago is they went design first, not engineering first or development first. It's all about the user journeys and the user stories first, so we can accommodate everything that the user wants to do. And we know that ahead of time. And then along the way, when you're doing the engineering, you can do research, like one-on-one interviews with the user to make sure you're going the right path. Because no matter how much of an educated guess that you have, there's always something new that you learn. So it's always good to test along the way. And it's really important to have UX design, UX research a part of the development process.
How do you actually do all that? Like, do you have like a prototype or working product that you are testing with the user during this interview? Like, I'm trying to envisage like how you're going through the process to get the feedback.
Yeah, I think maybe I can kind of talk about more of the higher tier UX research that can be done, because us with a startup, we kind of have to do whatever we can, the best that we can do with what we have. So it's a little bit difficult. And especially if you're doing it remotely with some wireframes, it's difficult. But essentially, once you have the user journeys done and you've moved on to some prototyping or wireframing, you can do some scripting. So basically, you create a study with very goals, very, very precise goals and flows that you want to go through, and you have maybe some research questions, and you kind of have like a hypothesis on what to expect. Maybe the dev team has some questions. Maybe there's some back and forth. Like the devs have one way that they want to go, and UX research is like, whoa, no, that's not what's going to happen. And devs are like, well, we don't believe you, or something like that. That happens a lot. So
yeah, okay.
That's a good skill to have as a UX researcher, is being able to kind of push back. But if an instance like that happens, well, guess what? We can do the research. We can find out what really happens with the user. So it's about testing the wireframes with the user, see what they actually do, see if they're able to accomplish the flows, meet their goals, see where the frustrations are, and get their feedback and collect insights on where things can be improved. So I wanted to go a little bit further into like the higher tier UX research. So actually, a lot of studies that I've done, especially like Google Stadia, so I worked with actual hardware. You bring participants in to a fake living room. So it's almost like you try to make it as realistic as possible.
Yeah.
And you hand them the controller and you tell them, hey, you're trying to accomplish this one thing, and then you just step back and watch them do it, and then essentially take notes, look at their body behavior, that sort of thing. So hopefully I was able to kind of tell a story on how that works.
Yeah, well, you sit down and watch them do it or not do it or get extremely frustrated, and then you go back to the drawing board essentially and redesign that process, that user journey. So I just want to talk through like an example user journey that you may have done. So something as simple as receiving ADA to your wallet. So what do you put in place to have that testing scenario done? So I have some vague understanding of how it's done. So you might write a user story such as the user wants to receive ADA into their wallet, and then you step out and map out the process. Can you explain how that part of the process works?
Yes, exactly. So, and I think it's really important, something you pointed out was to make sure to look at every step of the way. So even something as simple as just receiving ADA or getting ADA onto the wallet, like it's really important to break down those larger user journeys into smaller tasks and goals. So if somebody, if we were to test somebody on first time account creation or something like that, maybe towards the end of that study, we would try to get them to add ADA to the wallet or figure it out. And honestly, a good way to do that is say, give them scenario, put them in the situation and say, okay, you've created the wallet and now you're at the point that you want to supply the wallet with ADA. And honestly, you say, how would you go about doing that? And then you step back and watch and see what they do. Because then you know if they're able to figure it out on their own or they fail. And it also gives insights on what they would like to do first. So maybe we have a pathway that we want them to go down, but then we found out, that's not where 75% of people are going. They're clicking on this other button and trying to find it there. And then you go, okay, we need to change things up. So it can be used to, it can be used to check the health of user journeys to make sure you're on the right path, or to find the frustrations or learn how you may have to do it differently. Maybe they can't figure it out at all and they go, I have no idea. And that's a big red flag. And I think hopefully I pointed out a few reasons why it's important to do testing, because everything else is just guessing.
Yeah. And I think having all that testing done first and all the research behind it makes it so much easier for the dev team as well. They're not redoing code over and over again because of something that went wrong or a bad user experience or complaints later on when you actually launch the product. So having this all done and tested beforehand is essentially saving time on the dev side of things.
Exactly. Yep. It saves time, money, and resources. Yeah, exactly.
And of course, creating that better user experience.
Yeah. I mean, it's a win-win. I mean, that's why all of the major companies, Facebook, Google, Amazon, they're investing so much money into UX research, and it's hard to find UX researchers. So it's definitely, some companies have found that it's valuable, and on the other side, it's so new that a lot of us are still having to convince people how valuable it is.
Yeah. Yep. Very cool. It's definitely a growing industry. I've seen it here grow in Australia like astronomically. You see,
it is growing.
Yeah,
a lot in Australia. I'm looking forward to that. I was actually trying to move there. I interviewed with Canva, and my partner got into a master's program in Sydney. So we visited there and spent a week there. We're planning to move, and then that February, March, the pandemic happened. What was it last year? It's been so long now, but unfortunately, we weren't able. They locked down the borders and.
Damn!
Yeah, we were so close.
So close, but it's the pathway's changed, right? So instead of working at Canva doing UX research, you're now started up Gero and now have an awesome product that the Cardano crypto community can use. So can we talk a little bit about the wallet? Like, what goals have you achieved with it so far?
Yeah, goals. I think the important thing is nailing down the foundation. So that's really the initial goal. And we aren't just going to be a wallet. We're going to be essentially a financial dashboard or kind of an ecosystem. We have the token. So I think the first goal is kind of making those partnerships, making the planning for the dashboard, and then having this wallet out there, like essentially the foundation. I mean, there's all kinds of goals that we've met for sure, and challenges we've overcome. I wouldn't really know where to start, but I'm happy to dig a little bit deeper if you have anything in mind.
Okay. Well, you've got a lot of the core things down packed and everything that a user would expect from a wallet. So we can send, receive ADA, send, receive NFTs, and we can actually view our NFTs in the wallet as well, which is always a big tick. If someone's using something like Daedalus or Yoroi at the moment, if they're still using one of those wallets, you can't see any of those things. So, just having that little bit of wow factor in the wallet is a nice add. So we can actually see those little bits and pieces. And of course, you can always stake your ADA within the wallet as well. So that's another really big tick as well. And I like the fact that you can actually choose and move your delegation around, which is not available in some other wallets that have a similar user experience.
Sure. And I want to point out as well that you can supply the wallet with ADA. You can purchase ADA directly in the wallet, and then the ADA goes straight to the wallet. You don't have to purchase on Coinbase or Binance or something like that and then send it to the wallet.
That is really cool. Again, that's probably like a bit of user experience that you're trying to improve there.
I mean, it is. Yeah. Like we're trying to supply A to Z, pretty much everything all in one place. And so it's kind of in phases. So we're in that first phase of the wallet. And at the beginning of that is you want to be able to add ADA to your wallet if you don't already have it. And we're kind of setting up for hopefully this boom into Cardano for DeFi, as all of these beginners flock over. And hopefully it will be that more UX friendly wallet, a little bit easier for beginners to get started. One thing that concerns me is that some of the wallets look a little bit daunting or maybe confusing to a beginner. While they're, still amazing wallets and they're functionally great, it may kind of push people away and not get involved with Cardano. So I think it's nice to have kind of that segue, more UX friendly wallet. It's kind of similar to how people get started into crypto with Doge or something like that. Yeah. It's a meme and we may not like it, but it brings in a lot of new people, which I think is great.
It's a dog. What can you hate about a dog?
Yes, yeah.
It's a dog looking, a little bit goofy. So it's great. Now I love that being able to onboard currency directly into the wallet and having that Fiat On Ramp. I think that's pretty important for a lot of different projects. If you're trying to get someone in for the very first time, they're for example, like book token or something like that, or even local who are trying to pay rent via their application. If someone is using their platform and doesn't have any crypto, how on earth are they going to pay for their rent or pay for a new Amazon book subscription through book token? So having that Fiat On Ramp, which onboards them into the ecosystem, is absolutely essential. I did have a little play around with it on Gero as well. How are you guys doing that?
With the Fiat On Ramp?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going through MoonPay. So we partnered with MoonPay to make that happen. So they specialize in the Fiat On Ramps, and they're the ones that are able to handle with all the legal complications and all of that, because that's a big challenge. And so they're able to actually push in new areas. So I know one thing that MoonPay is really interested in working with Cardano to spread further into Africa, more than just South Africa or I don't know, Ethiopia or something like that, a lot broader into the sub-Saharan countries. And also I wanted to point out that I think SPOs have really grown fond of the Fiat On Ramp, because it's really easy to show people, hey, you can purchase your ADA within the wallet and then immediately stake, and you can literally do that within minutes. So,
wow,
SPOs have enjoyed it.
Wow, that's a really cool experience. So you've got SPOs, we've got a couple of projects. Is there anything in particular that we can highlight in regards to other projects or partnerships that you have where they're using this particular on-ramp process?
Well, talking to Dwayne, Liquid's very excited about that. And Local, of course, they came to us, and those guys are great. I'm really excited, looking forward to that. And eventually in the dashboard, having some sort of real estate mechanisms. Basically, it's going to be a financial dashboard to control all of your financials. So one thing could be your real estate, your rent.
Yep.
And there's more. I mean, Cornucopias came to us. They're really excited for us to be the wallet in there. They're like a multiverse, metaverse game thing going on. So, I mean, the sky's the limit there. There's certainly projects that have come to us because they really appreciate that Fiat On Ramp.
It sounds like a lot of exciting partnerships for sure, and a lot of more projects that are picking it up so that people can just on ramp via Fiat, which is absolutely cool. Now, you mentioned about this dashboard. You kind of alluded to it a couple of times just a little bit earlier. Now, I'm trying to envisage what this entire dashboard will encompass. You're saying stuff like the real estate side of things, and I'm assuming you're going to tap in some gaming in here. Can you explain the vision of this dashboard? Like, a lot of people are talking about encompassing dashboards at the moment.
Okay. I'm not sure about anything gaming wise yet, actually, but what we have envisioned right now is essentially an extended view of the wallet. So that'll be the initial part of it. So it'll be like the web version of the wallet. And then below that, maybe you can imagine tabs where there will be access to yield farming, analytics of your financials, NFT staking, access to NFT marketplaces, and derivatives and synthetics, borrowing and lending. And essentially all of this can kind of accumulate onto a homepage. You click and go where you want to go. And then maybe like on the homepage, you can see your financials. So you can say, oh, you gained $100 today, or you lost $100, and that sort of thing. So that's kind of what we envision right now. What we want to do is bring everything all in one place. So you don't have to navigate across different dApps, different websites. You don't have to send assets across different addresses and wallets, and you don't have to spend a bunch of transaction fees doing all of these different things. Like, it can all be in one place, and in a very organized fashion. UX friendly, user friendly. So it brings in the newbies, I guess. It gets people excited and.
Yeah, it sounds pretty cool because One, it can showcase and highlight different projects within the ecosystem that you've partnered up with. So there might be a new protocol that I've never heard of, but the wallet supports it, so it will be appearing in the dashboard. So that's pretty cool. But the other thing is that big time saver for me, because I'm at the moment every week I'm logging to MinSwap and then Sunday Swap and then Meld to check my status when things expire. Then I'm checking into JPEG Store to see if my NFTs have sold yet, and all these other websites, Wi-Fi, for example, as well. So I'm going through all of these one at a time and checking what needs to be actioned in there so I can optimize rewards. Having that all in one dashboard so I can see everything at a glance, so I can know, okay, that needs to be actioned here, that needs to be done here, is really cool. Is that exactly? Is that what you're doing? Because I need that.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's about. It's about a better user experience, providing everything all in one place. Another thing is, I didn't mention we'll have swaps. We are planning long-term to be chain agnostic. So we may integrate other chains like Nervos. Ethereum will probably be a top one, but that's also going to come down to governance. I don't want to be the one to choose those. When we have the smart contracts launched, which are being audited right now. But once they go out, we can have the DAO and governance and people can vote on the blockchains. But the thing I didn't mention is that we will have swapping within that dashboard as well. And it will be a DEX aggregator. So it will provide the best prices across all of the DEXs. So like you said, you don't have to log in. If you're looking to swap, you don't have to log into MinSwap, Sunday Swap, Wing Riders, all of those to get the best price and do all the math and stuff like that. We can provide it up front. So I think that saves a lot of time as well. That
is really cool. I was about to say, are you going to build your own DEX? But no, you're going to have an aggregator.
A lot of this stuff we won't be building directly. We are building the NFT staking. We're working with Canucks Publishing on the marketplace, NFT marketplace, but that'll be a little bit further down the road. So it's more likely that we'll probably integrate a marketplace. We don't need another marketplace out there, but we are building NFT staking. I'm very, very excited for that. I don't even want to go into more detail. It's going to be something that doesn't even exist yet. So that'll be coming out in Q3. That'll be one of the earlier features on the dashboard. And I don't know where else to go from there.
Come on, Sean. It's like you're teasing us here. You're saying that you're going to have NFT staking, but you can't say anything more about it.
Yeah, well, we're not the only ones working on that. We're working with Canucks Publishing on that.
Yeah,
so they're
okay.
the experts. Right. And I don't want to ruin it. It's been so much fun. So we're actually in that process that I was just talking about, doing the user journeys and making sure we get everything covered.
Gotcha.
And considering every user in Cardano, not just an NFT holder, but the NFT creators, SPOs, and there's other criteria like the flippers. So maybe somebody looking for a quick buck, and then there's like the lurkers. So people that are just kind of wondering what's going on, what's NFT staking. So all of those things are really important. We need to be able to supply information and kind of facilitate each one of those users. So that's the stage that we're in there. And it's going to take a little bit longer to put that out, but I really feel like it's going to be an excellent example of the UX process. So something that we weren't necessarily able to do with the wallet because we're just moving too quick, but we're taking a little bit longer with staking and doing it correctly. So very, very excited for that.
I would love to hear some of that updates in regards to the research and how things are done. But of course, you're still at early stages. But after you start going to the dev process, maybe if you could share some of the UX research and some of the progress and updates, that'd be absolutely amazing. Now, you also mentioned governance. So you guys had a token. So maybe we'll first start with the token launch, and then we'll go into where the tokens and what's going on with it now, because you've gone through quite a journey. So you guys started off with Card Starter in 2021, and you launched your project through that. Now, that was on Ethereum. What's the deal here? You're building a Cardano project, but you launched on Ethereum. What's the story?
Yeah, it's kind of wild. We took a whole year to bridge the token from Ethereum to Cardano, and that was not the plan, but that's what happened. And it's just silly that we have this token, we can't even hold it in our own wallet. But CarStarter they were a big part of getting us started. And I mean, one of the things that was advised was to start on Ethereum, and this was a year ago, and crypto, a year is 10 years. So if you can imagine, totally different world with Cardano native tokens, and being able to have a multi-sig wallet, and vesting contracts and stuff like that. So that stuff didn't exist on Cardano. So a lot of that stuff is important to put on Ethereum. And when we did it, it was supposed to be temporary. I mean, I remember we were supposed to bridge in October, and then there was like the PAB didn't happen. And eventually, I mean, we were working with MLabs on that. And my understanding is, so I'm not a dev, but my understanding is they had to basically create their own PAB currently. And then we didn't even go through the MLabs bridge because it still needed more time for sufficient auditing and stuff like that. We ended up going through Melgometa. So shout out to DC Spark and Melgometa for that, and Nomad as well. We really appreciate that exists, and we're able to go through it. And they were very, very helpful in making sure that it was successful. They worked very quickly with us as well. But now we're on Cardano, so we're here. Very happy that it's finally happened.
Yeah, that is one hell of a journey. I did a news update about it last week, and seeing that bridge and the tutorials all come out, and various projects that were over on Ethereum finally make the move and do the switch over via the bridge is absolutely fantastic. And there you can see the Gero token and C3 and some other ones all trading on Cardano native dexes, which is really cool to see too.
Yes, that's awesome to finally see that token on Sunday in MintSwap, and it's on Muesli. And I think most importantly, it's awesome to see it in the wallet.
Yeah, definitely. Your own wallet without your own tokens is it's kind of depressing, but now it's finally there, which is great.
It's just the way it had to be. I mean, I hated it, but it's the way it was. So.
Yeah. For me, just personally, I found it a little bit hard because I sold a lot of Ethereum early on in 2021. So when you guys came along and said, "Oh, we're launching on CardStarter," I was like, "Great! Well, now I have no course of action to actually participate in the ecosystem," which was a little bit annoying. But I think a lot of people actually did, and luckily they could too. So now that we have our tokens in our wallets and it's over in the Cardano ecosystem, you're looking at governance and a DAO now. So how is that process working, and what are you guys planning for it?
Yeah, so we're working with MLabs for those smart contracts as well. So there's two parts to the smart contracts. That is the governance and then staking. The staking is going to be a big part of the NFT staking platform. So there's no current NFT staking platform that's on chain. That's all off chain. So I'm very excited for that. And then the governance, that's very exciting. I think that's really important to DeFi. It's going to be a big part of the future of Gero Wallet and Gero, as we eventually will drop the wallet name. But, there's going to be transactional fees. There's going to be other blockchains that we support and who knows what else. But being able to have token holders put up those proposals and kind of guide Gero where it needs to go, I think is really important, because that's an issue with a long time ago, that's what got me into blockchain and digital assets, is the banking system just kind of corrupted. And there's credit unions, which I think is a step better, but I think it's really good for the holders of the money to be able to have a voice. I know that I have a savings account, and maybe I've made $1 or something. The interest rate is insane.
Yeah.
So it would be a lot better to put out the voice to actual holders.
It'll be really interesting to see what direction the project takes when people start putting proposals and voting on various proposals as well. It's when you're deeply invested in the project and you love the project, you do want to see it succeed. So you should be participating in this kind of direction and governance of the project in general. It's absolutely amazing. I didn't think we'd ever see this kind of future with projects, but crypto and blockchain has made it all possible, which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I think you nailed it right there. I think it's really important. It's an important aspect of DeFi. I feel like you aren't decentralized unless you do have the governance for the project. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great. It's in a way, it almost relieves a lot of work on my end too, though. It leaves the decision making to someone else.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really key thing. It's like, if you're sitting there trying to work out, what do we build next? What chain do we integrate in next? And you're spending like hours, days, weeks on research. The community members are already doing that research for you. Why not just get them to contribute? It's just makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been thinking about it recently as well. And if you have that question, what direction do we go in next? I think one thing that you would consider is doing a survey, reaching out to the community, asking them questions and then collecting data on that. You're almost cutting corners a little bit with the governance. Like they'll tell you what they want. You don't even have to ask. They can make the proposals. So that's a really cool aspect of it as well.
Very, very cool. Okay. So what is the long-term vision for the project then? Where to now? Like what's the next 6 months? What's the end of year going to look like for the wallet and the project in general? We got the dashboard, we got additional features being added in.
Yeah, so top priority right now is mobile wallets, and they're etched in for a beta this month. I've actually been tinkering around with the mobile apps on my phone here in the last week.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it actually feels so good on the phone too. I think people are going to be really excited about it. Like the extension's okay. The extension is kind of limited with the size and stuff like that. But if you can imagine the extension on your phone, just like the way it's set up and the buttons and stuff like that, it's a really good mobile app. Maybe I'm biased, but it just felt so good. I was really excited. And we also have a really nice feature in there that none of the other wallets have right now. And it's not necessarily a secret, but we haven't announced that it's going to be in the mobile app. So that should wrap up at the end of the month. And some of the beta testers may know, like maybe, I can share it out to you, get your feedback on it and stuff like that. Yeah. But we'll drop it. We won't say anything until it actually drops live. And then, okay, so where else are we going?
You're doing it to me again.
I try not to tease too much, but that one I am teasing. I'm having fun with that one.
Okay.
But okay, so the long-term vision, I really want to touch on the really, really long-term vision. So, maybe it'll take 5 years to reach that vision, but a big part of UX research is actually concerned with the user, concerned with accessibility, and advocating for those users. So this could be, maybe some people don't use their arms or hands or fingers or anything like that, or have impaired vision, that sort of thing. So a lot of limitations I see with DeFi applications or dApps are, a lot of it is like text concerns or color concerns or contrast, where somebody that is vision impaired may have a really difficult time navigating or reading, that sort of thing. So those kinds of things are really important, I feel like, to advocate for during the design and development process. So the long-term vision that I would like to see is global accessibility. So not just building and designing for Western culture, but globally. So that includes, including several different languages and learning about how different cultures and different areas use the applications, how we can improve it for them. So that's going to take much longer, but also thinking about lesser privileged areas. So they don't have access to a lot of these tools. Can you imagine trying to pay for gas with your phone or something like that? I want it to be able to be that accessible. Some areas don't have access to certain banking banking. I guess trying to think of the word here. Like, we're very privileged. I know somebody in the chats today, we're just talking about South Africa. Like, they can't get like a bank card to put ADA onto their wallet and stuff like that. They have a difficult time doing that. So yeah, I think long-term vision is global accessibility and facilitating users in lesser privileged areas to be able to interact with crypto and be able to pay for things, being able to get a loan that they wouldn't normally have access to. I know Cardano has a big, it's big into the smaller loans. That's really helpful for people living in Africa, as far as I know. And then even with with real estate, I think your rent, they pay like daily or weekly. And so those loans can be very helpful as well. So that's the very, very long-term vision. I think at the end of the year, so coming back, dashboard. So after mobile apps, we're going to be focusing on NFT staking, the extended view of the wallet, and starting to get into the dashboard, integrating those other partners, protocols, and the DAO, native staking. So we have a lot on our plate for the end of the year.
Yeah, absolutely amazing vision. I really, really love that long-term vision. We used to do a lot of work with web accessibility, making websites compliant for WCAG, especially WCAG, I can't even remember what it stands for. Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. I should know that off the top of my head. But we used to do a lot of work for government websites, so we had to be completely WCAG compliant and doing a lot of research around that before we actually implement the design. So people that don't know, like a lot of crypto, the whole crypto space is not compliant at all whatsoever.
It's all failures, yeah.
You go through a website and you look at the color contrast between the gray and a light gray text, you can't read it.
Well, you understand. Okay, good.
I completely understand because I've gone through this all, or like a keyboard navigation. You're pressing tab to go through a form, and suddenly it goes from the name to your street address. And now I have to use my mouse to go back and click on the last name field. Totally understand web accessibility from just a user point of view, all the way to the actual accessibility from a country standpoint, and not being able to actually use particular applications to get on board. So totally understand that. Absolutely love that vision, and I really hope you guys tick all those boxes and get to that point to make Gero the most accessible platform ever in DeFi and crypto.
Yeah, I hope so. I think that's a big part of UX research is accessibility and advocating for everyone, not just the core users. So, like for now, core Cardano users and stuff like that. And I don't think we're anywhere near that. If you look at our wallet, we'd probably fail as well, but we're trying our butt off, and, there's a balance. So we have to move very quickly to stay relevant, while also keeping user experience and the focus on the user in mind as well. So, as long as we can stay relevant, I think we can stay afloat and eventually be able to achieve those longer term goals.
Okay, I'll be throwing your wallet through some testing tools.
Yeah, actually, that would be great. Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, so last off, let's wrap this one up. How can people get into contact with you guys? Get the wallet? Where do we go? What do we do?
Yeah. So if you wanted to download the wallet, it's a Chrome extension. You can go via the website, so gerowallet.io. There's a button in the top right. It'll send you to the Chrome store. You can download it. It'll work for any Chromium browser. So Chrome, Brave, Edge, Firefox in the future. We're focusing on a few other things first. Otherwise, we have a Twitter, we have Telegram, we have Discord, and Medium. We also have YouTube as well, and soon to be Twitch. So I'm going to be doing a kind of fun thing next week for our first birthday. I'm going to be doing a trivia event on Twitch and invite everyone. So it should be a good time.
Awesome. All right. I'm there. A trivia and happy birthday too.
So, thank you. It's been a long 1 year.
Oh yeah. I can imagine. All right. So I'll put all the links to that down below in the video description so everyone can find out a little bit more about the wallet, and absolutely fantastic vision for the project. I hope you guys are the best.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on here, Peter.
So hopefully you know and have learned a little bit more about usability, accessibility, and what it actually means. I'm going to dig in a little bit deeper with Sean so we can learn more about usability testing and how he's gone through that NFT staking platform and how that whole usability research has been done so that they're building the best experience possible. So I really want to know a little bit more about how that process has all gone down and how it works, what they did. And if you really want to know more about it, follow the links down below. You can follow the team at Gero Wallet, see what they're putting out, to install the wallet as well if you haven't done so yet, and of course communicate and engage with them on their social channels. Now, if you really enjoy this type of content and you want to hear that interview that I have coming up with Sean again about the usability research for the staking mechanism on their app, please give me that thumbs up, click subscribe, click the notification bell, and you hear more from me real soon. And I'll see you in the next video.
Yeah, gotta do it like that. You've been listening to the Learn Cardano podcast. Gotta get it hype. Crypto is what we like, but this is not investment or financial advice. Gotta do your research, cause it's risky. We know it is. This show is educational and it's informative. Crypto's the future, really, it ain't no debate.